Everyone. Welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio. I am your host, Nigel, as always. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first, let me start off by saying happy. Well, first, let me start off by adjusting my camera a little bit. Sorry. All right. So, first off, let me start by saying happy belated Valentine's Day, everyone. So, Valentine's Day was yesterday. And so, if you had a Valentine, if you didn't, uh, I will be your Valentine for the day. So, happy belated Valentine's Day to you. Who I love you all so, so much. All right. So, now let's move on to the answer to last week's riddle. So, just to recap, last week's riddle was this. So, a man, so a man gets a call from the police saying his wife is dead. Tragic, tragic scene. And so, the police then say, hey, your wife is dead. Please drive over to the crime scene, and so he can discuss things further. So, he drives over to the crime scene, but as soon as he gets there, he's arrested. As soon as he pulls up to the crime scene, he's arrested. And why? So the answer to that is that they never told him where the crime scene was. Because they never told him where the crime scene was, normally they expect him to ask, hey, where's the crime scene? You never told me where the crime scene was. But instead, he showed up to the crime scene. So he knew already where the crime scene was. So how else would he have known unless he committed the crime? I know a little bit of a darker riddle, but it's something that sort of gets those brain muscles thinking. But anyway, moving on to uh, the next part of our video, we are going to, we're going to be talking about another little story time of mine. So I don't know if I'll make story times a regular thing on this podcast, but for now, this is a story of the worst video game I've ever played. So, those of you who know, oh, I'm a huge gaming fan. I love video games, and first things first, before I forget. So, last week we talked about the Avengers video game. That video game actually comes out September 4th. That is 3 days before my birthday. Hey, so, for those of you who don't know what to give me for my birthday, if you're going to give me anything, that's a start. All right, so just kidding about that, but so but today we're gonna be talking about the worst video game I've ever played, and unfortunately, this is a game that was on one of my favorite consoles at the time growing up was the Wii. So this game was called Battle Rage Mech Combat. So the story starts off like this. So, we were at the mall for something, and it was out of town, and we were checking out some stores, and one store that we checked out was a GameStop. And so, me at the time, I absolutely loved GameStop. I don't like GameStop as much nowadays as I used to back then, but back then I was a huge GameStop fan. I always wanted to go in GameStop. I loved it so much. So I went inside GameStop and I had a few bucks on me. So I rooted around, saw what was new, but then I also looked in the bargain bin. The bargain bin usually is, well, they don't really have a bargain bin for it anymore. Now it's just on the shelf. But usually the bargain bin is pre-owned games that are pretty cheap and were games that were either out for a while, so where the price has gone down a lot, or not that great to begin with, which is why the price is down a lot. And this game, that should have been a warning right there. So, um, the game was about $2.99, so which is not bad. So I picked it up. I was like, you know what the heck? I got a few bucks in my pocket. I'll pick this game up. So I picked it up and I couldn't play it until I got home. So when I got home from our trip, I popped it in my Wii, booted up, and I started playing it. And this game, unfortunately, was not great. So the game, for starters, was unplayable and confusing. And one thing about video games is that if you're going to play them, apologies. All right, that's better. All right, so one thing about video games is that they should be easy to play. Now, let's compare it to, let's say, a movie. If you go watch a movie and the movie's confusing, you can't follow what's going on, you're going to lose interest. You're like, I don't understand what's going on. This is way too confusing. I'm not watching this. Is you might get up and leave the theater. Or if you're like me, you might tough it out, like, maybe it gets better. It doesn't. All right, so this game was not fun. Like the combat in it was confusing. I'm like, I sat there playing it like, what am I supposed to be doing? And one thing sometimes that you gotta do is you gotta start randomly pressing buttons, figure out what to do. Ooh, and that didn't seem to be working at all. Oh, I sort of chained together some combos in the game, but ultimately it was just not fun. And the graphics sucked. They were not pretty to look at all. Oh, they were very, very ugly to look at. And I know it's the Wii, it can be kind of forgivable, but this game looked terrible on the Wii. There are games that came out later than this game, or even earlier than this game, that look way better than this. But now this was in. Now I bought this game in an entirely different state. Hey, I was out of town, out of the state, so I couldn't even return it if I wanted to. So I'm stuck with it, and I think I traded it in a while back. So that is the worst video game I ever played. Battle Rage Mech Combat. The name sounded cool, but it was not cool. So, moving on to the next topic, we are going to talk about motivation. Now, uh, motivation is something that is so important, and it's so important for us to be motivated and for us to motivate others. Or so, why does motivation work? Or why is motivation such an important part of our lives? Because it builds us up, it makes us feel good. It's sometimes it's what keeps us going, and it just keeps us moving along to what we wish to accomplish in our goals. If we have someone or something in our lives that is keeping us trucking along and keeping us fighting along through whatever the day presents us with, that is what that is one of the reasons why motivation is so key, is because it sort of gives us the strength to keep fighting. And it's not saying it's getting easier, but it's saying, come on, you can do this, you can do this, you got this. So that's why motivation is awesome. Plus it shows when you're motivated by others, it shows you that those people love and support you. And when you motivate others, it shows them the same thing. It shows them that you care about where they're going and what they're doing with their life, that you're taking at least some interest in saying, I know you and I know that you can accomplish this, and if anybody can accomplish this, it's you. It was so uh it helps you through the day. Hey, I know some days where I just wasn't feeling it. I was just struggling along through the day. And I feel like we've all felt that way at some point, where we're just sort of going through the motions, just sort of dragging ourselves through the day, like, is this day almost over? But someone says something saying, you can do this. I know you can do this. And it just fires us up inside. It just gives us this energy, this electricity within ourselves, saying, you know what, I got this. I can push through this. So um you not only motivate yourself, but like I said, remember to motivate others as well, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, whether we realize it or not. We are all on this great big rock with water, traveling through Earth, not traveling through Earth, traveling through space at supersonic speed. We're all in this together, and we all have to be unified and motivating each other and motivating ourselves to do better, to see better, to be better. That is truly key, and that's what helps us accomplish our dreams and goals. So, next topic that I want to move on to. So, we're going to talk about the Academy Awards, the Oscars. So, the Academy Awards are awards for movies. These are the big awards. So, there's several different types of awards for all things. I should call it entertainment, I guess. There's Grammys, there's Tonys, there's daytime Emmys, but the Oscars are the big ones for movies. And there's several categories of Oscars or Academy Awards, depending on what you want to call them. There's for soundtracks, there's for costume design, and one of the biggest ones is for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actors. So this year, the Oscar/Academy Award for Best Actor went to Mr. Joaquin Phoenix for his role as Joker. And in my honest opinion, while personally I didn't see the Oscars, I usually don't tune in, I feel like he well deserved this. Once I read that he won it the first thought that crossed my mind was it couldn't have gone to anyone else. If you saw the Joker movie, and I know this is going to be a tad bit biased, I apologize, but if you saw the Joker movie, he acted in his heart out for that role. He took the role of Joker and made it his. He stood out in that movie, and you can tell that he absolutely had fun portraying the Joker. And it was one of those movies where it seemed like everything that went into the movie made it special. And with Phoenix at the helm as the actor, as the main man leading it, in terms of acting, of course he wasn't director, but in terms of acting, him leading everything, it was spectacular. And so a lot of people have compared his Joker to another great Joker, and the last one actually to win the Academy Award was Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, personally, I've never seen Heath Ledger's interpretation of the Joker, but from what I've heard, it's fantastic, and he won an Academy Award. Or, of course, it went to him posthumously as he passed away before he received the award. So to see him receive an award and then to see Phoenix receive an award years later is absolutely incredible, and just goes to show that sometimes when things are done right, they are done right. Now, unfortunately, the same couldn't be said about Jared Leto's portrayal as the Joker, although there have been several factors said as to why that is. Some people said he wasn't given enough time, he wasn't given enough to work with as an actor. And so, whatever the case may be, that role that he played Joker in Suicide Squad was not as good, but Phoenix definitely deserved the award. So congratulations to him. And that is just about it for today. A bit of a shorter episode. So to leave you with the riddle for next week, the riddle is this: how can you drop a raw egg onto a concrete floor without cracking it? I'll repeat it one more time. How can you drop a raw egg onto a concrete floor without cracking it? That's your riddle for next week. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, and happy belated Valentine's Day once again. I will see you all later. Peace.